So this past weekend, I had the pleasure of speaking at Dr. Eric Thomas's conference in Atlanta, Georgia called Anchored. Last weekend, I had the pleasure of facilitating two breakout sessions at a conference called the Unite Women's Conference with some phenomenal, dynamic speakers. Coming up in the next weekend, a week from less than a week from today, I have the pleasure of speaking in Lansing, Michigan, again with the number one motivational speaker in the world. In October, I have the pleasure of taking the stage with Brandy Harvey and Vanessa Garrison, the founder of Girl Trek. When I tell you, I am so grateful. And when I tell you, this ain't an accident. Let me tell you guys something. I am still high off of this weekend. Guys, this weekend in Atlanta, I had the pleasure of facilitating, moderating, and also participating as a co-panelist for the women's panel at Anchored. And I led a conversation talking about limiting beliefs, talking about things that have anchored us to healthy behaviors and things that have anchored us to unhealthy behaviors. And it was an absolute dream come true. If you don't know, if you haven't seen it, if you missed my email, just less than 4 days ago, maybe 5 days ago on Thursday, an episode dropped from the Secrets to Success podcast, which is the podcast that is Dr. Eric Thomas podcast with his team, Carl, CJ, and Jamal. And I was featured as a guest. That podcast has millions of downloads every month, and I was featured as a guest. And so something amazing happened this past weekend as I was engaging with the people after the event. And many people came up to me and were saying, I want to do something similar to what you do. I want to be a speaker. I want to be a coach. I want to talk. I want to teach. And then on Sunday, I hosted a meet and greet at Lenox Mall. And same thing, we were talking conversations and we were talking about speaking and we were talking about coaching and we were talking about having a personal brand. And I had all of these phenomenal conversations this past weekend with individuals who are interested, who feel called to be in the front. I was having a lot of conversations with individuals who believe that their assignment to God is attached to them having a personal brand. So I thought I would take today's Monday morning keynote to give you guys the opportunity to give you guys my process for how I went from a quiet coach to gracing the stages and podcasts and platforms with some of the most well-known names in their industries. Like, I can't even tell you how excited I am to be speaking at the Girlfriend Getaway in less than a month, on October 18th with Brandy Harvey and a whole slew. I mean, just amazing individuals who are doing big things. And it's like, how did a little, introverted girl from the city of Detroit become this person, have established this personal brand? And it's not an accident, and thank God for that, because it's not an accident and because it's on purpose. That means I get to share with you the strategy, the intentional strategy that I use to do what I'm doing, because it's not an accident. And because it has been designed this way, because there has been intent behind getting on these stages and having a personal brand and having a public persona, I get to share it with you. When stuff happened on accident, you don't know how to share it. You like, listen, I was just throwing some ingredients in the pan and hoping it came out the oven tasting like something. But good news for you is this is not your great grandma's recipe on how to build a personal brand. I didn't just throw a whole bunch of stuff in a bowl, mix it up, and hope I developed a personal brand. This was intentional. Praise God for intent, y'all. So today we're going to have a good time together because I'm going to break down to you, I'm going to share with you 3 major things that I've done to develop a personal brand as an introvert who is called to speaking, who is called to coaching, and who is called to be a public figure. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I am so happy to be back. Welcome to anyone who's new here, who's never heard me before, seen me before. Welcome. Let's talk about what y'all sipping on before we get started. If this is your first Monday morning keynote with me, what you need to know is as always, we are always sipping because every now and then I get a little passionate in the middle of my talks. And every now and then, when I get passionate in the middle of my talks, some kind of way, y'all edges start lifting. And so, to control my emotions and to protect your edges, we always bring tea to our Monday morning keynotes so that we can regulate our emotions. So, for those of you who are ready to have your edges lifted a little bit, who needs to be motivated and inspired to go to the next level and to come from behind the scenes and to turn the mic on and to turn the camera on and to finally start putting yourself out there because you believe that is what God has been calling you to do, then make sure you got something to sip on so that when you start feeling triggered, right, you can calm yourself with some tea. We call this emotional support tea. What's up, Shaquanda? What's up, Regina? What's up, Wanda? Wanda says she got green tea today. Okay, what else, y'all? Stacy got her warm key lime water. Listen, Stacy be on here sipping on her warm key lime water so often that I just really feel like I gotta try it. You know what I'm gonna do the next time I go to the market, Stacy? In honor of you, I'm buying some key limes. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even really sure where to get key limes because every time I go to my local Trader Joe's, all I see is just regular limes and lemons. But maybe I'm not looking, or maybe Stacy got privilege. We don't know, y'all. But I'm buying some key limes because she keep talking about this key lime water. So give us the recipe, Stacy. Is it just we squeeze the key lime into water? Is your okay, warm water? Okay, so just give us the recipe. Let's see. Malika says she got peppermint tea, hot peppermint tea today. I love it. Regina says she's got dandelion tea over here. Yes, y'all better murder some cancer cells with all this medicinal tea. I love it here. Okay, so everybody has their teacup, something that you sipping on. What I got in here today, y'all? I got vanilla Camaro. You guys know I love my more bougie teas, right? I'm a little bougie when it comes to my tea, y'all. So I got vanilla Camaro, and then I got some adaptogenics in here. I mixed it with a tea called Clarity and Calm, right? So I got some adaptogenics in here. So we sipping, and that's gonna help me control myself if I try to go off my rocker. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you never know because y'all know how passionate I get. Let's get into it. How did I go from a quiet coach and an introvert to industry stages with some of the biggest names? I saw a comment. Hold on, we got a new person. Let me acknowledge who was that? Unbecoming with Dr. Ebony L. Trust. Hello, Dr. Trust. She said, "What up, though?" She from the D. What up, though? She said, "I just started following you from the Dr. Eric Thomas podcast interview, and I did not know you were from Detroit. Me too. I'm here to stay for real, for real. What up, though, Dr. Trust? Welcome." Welcome, my homie from the D. Love it. Listen, no matter where we go, we can't shake off that Detroit, honey. We can't shake it off. So happy to have you here, Dr. Trust. Thank you for joining me on today. Okay, Stacy gave us the recipe, y'all. She said just the real key limes with seeds after I boil the water and let it sit. All right, all right. Now, if you really bossy, Stacy, let us know the benefits. Why key limes? Because in the morning when I wake up, I have my warm lemon water. So every morning, y'all, as part of my morning routine to really start setting the stage for the day, to make sure my body is processing things properly, elimination, all of that stuff. I always start with warm lemon water. So that's a hack for you guys. Don't start your day with all this caffeine, coffee, sugar, but really try starting your day with some warm water with citrus in it. Stacy uses key limes. I use lemon. I'm about to try key limes and see what that do. But warm lemon water in the morning, every morning, will change your life. And we got some stuff coming. We got some stuff. Me and Kiwi are working on some stuff that's going to help y'all with that. But just wait and see, right? Just wait and see. And so we got some stuff coming. Let's get into how I went from a quiet coach to sharing industry stages with some of the biggest names. So this past weekend, we did a meet and greet on Sunday. Thank you, everybody who came out to Flower Child at Lenox Mall in Atlanta and meeted and greeted with me. We had some phenomenal conversations. And I was one of the young ladies that I was talking to at the meet and greet. You know, she was sharing with us that she is really feeling called to coaching, right? She's got her certification in coaching. She's still at her 9 to 5, but she really feels called to coaching. And she was just asking me some really good questions about how she should start getting out there, right? How she should start getting out there. And, she had some reservations, not necessarily because she was an introvert. I don't know if she is or isn't, but more because of her 9 to 5 and some other things that she has going on. So she's like, I really want to kind of remain low key, remain private. And so I know I want to start putting myself out there. I feel God is calling me to help people in this coaching space. But I have some current circumstances that's kind of preventing me from being able to go full on public, right? And I'll tell you guys what I told her. I told her if you can't go full on public, you can try semi private. And I gave her some tips on how she could start creating content, putting her face and her message out there without doing it on the mainstream internet, right? And that was going to be based on what her specialization is, what her niche is, like what specific audience that she want to serve. And I was giving her tips on how to find those people quietly and start talking to them, right? And so my point of telling that short story is no matter what you're telling yourself about why you can't go public or show up, whether it has to do with your circumstance, like for her, it was her 9 to 5, it was her job, or if it has to do with who you are naturally. For me, I'm naturally an introvert. I'm telling you right now, the assignment is the assignment, right? So when God gives us the assignment, our job is to find a way. When God gives us an assignment, our job is to find a way. So let me give you the way that I did it. So if you have been called to speak, to teach, to coach, to lead, but it doesn't feel natural to you. If it doesn't feel natural to you, then here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the process that I use. And guess what, y'all? I did something super fun and cutesy. I created an acronym for it so that you can remember it. And it's quite apropos to tea drinking. The acronym that I am about to share with you is called SIP. Okay, now. Don't mind if I do. It's called SIP. So this is a 3-part process that I use to go from playing the background, staying quiet, to making the decision to become a public figure. All right. So the acronym is SIP. All right, so let me tell you guys what I do, just so we're all clear. I don't like to assume that all of you guys have been around for a while. I know for at least we got one person, Dr. Trust, in the building who's fairly new to me. So I am a coach. I own a coaching company. Okay, we've been in business 10 years this year, since 2015. All right, and I own a health coaching and business coaching company. So we help individuals optimize their health using food as medicine and by eliminating chronic stress. We're masters in stress, we're masters in plant-based nutrition, and we're masters in lifestyle science. So lifestyle science encompasses things like stress, immunity, sleep hygiene, right? So we don't just teach food. Food is not enough to heal the body, right? We teach relationships, right? We teach all of those other areas of health that impact us that sometimes we ignore or don't take as serious. So lifestyle science, nutrition science, all right, and business. I also teach business, right? So that's what I do in my coaching company. Those are the areas that we coach in. And I've been doing it for a long time. As I mentioned, since 2015, it started with my own journey, my own weight loss journey. And before I owned a coaching company, before I was a full-time entrepreneur, I was a social worker, right? So I went from social work to health and wellness and haven't looked back, and it's been the best decision of my life. And I'm a speaker as well. When I started my company in 2015, at that time, it was called Fit Camp 360, and we had our first live event for our clients in 2016. And in 2016, when we had our first live event, like in-person event for our clients at the time, I rented out this community space in Detroit, and I invited our clients from Fit Camp 360, and we all came gathered in this big community room, and we had a couple of speakers, and we all shared important to our clients. At the end of that event, my best friend, Jay, she said, "Your gift is speaking." And I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay." So she told me my gift was speaking. And so I decided to lean into my gift, right? It's one thing to have a natural gift, and then it's another thing to hone and steward your gift. And great stewardship, when you know your gift, is all about taking care of your gift, right? Getting better, right? Gifted gets you so far, but then when you add talent on top of gift, it goes to the next level. And so that's what I began to do. I began to add talent on top of my gift. So I naturally have a gift of speaking. Like I ain't never had stage fright. And I don't know why, because I'm an introvert, but I've never had stage fright. Right. But when I started getting my reps in and being intentional, when Jay brought it to my attention that speaking was a gift for me, I decided to do something about it. So, if you are interested in being a speaker or having a personal brand and being able to get on bigger stages and having bigger doors open for you and being called to bigger opportunities and to serve the masses, right? I know everyone isn't called to that. Everyone doesn't aspire to that. But those are the individuals that I'm talking to today. Here's the first step in the SIP acronym. I need my note takers to put this in the chat. The first S, the first thing I did to get to where I am today is I built my own stage. Okay. I built my own stage, right? So the S in SIP stands for stages. Here's one of the problems, or one of the mistakes, should I say, that some of us make when we aspire to speak and when we aspire to have a public platform. We wait for someone else to invite us to their stage. Right. So we know we speak. Shout out to Dr. Trust. She said, I don't know stage fright over here either. I'm introverted with no stage fright. Okay, that's my people. But a lot of times number one, when we know we're good at it, when we know it's a gift, we want to be paid for it. We want to be paid for it. And we know we get paid on other people's stages, right? And so we want to be acknowledged. We want to be invited to other people's stages. But one of the best ways to expedite those invitations is to build your own stage. So, how did I do that? Let's get granular here, y'all. How did I do that? Okay. I first did it in person. Okay, so in 2017, I started a class in downtown Detroit called Get Planted, an introduction to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And I started that class, and once a month, every first Saturday of the month, I invited the community to come out and learn from me. I was passionate about plant-based nutrition. I still am today. I'm plant-based myself. And I was learning and understanding the power of using food as medicine, because you guys know food can either kill you or heal you. It's not a secret, right? Either prevents disease or promotes disease. It's that simple. And so a lot of our people, right, they were using food not to heal themselves, should I say. And right, so we're using food as emotional support, right? We're using food for everything other than healing the body and the mind. And so I wanted to teach us how we could do that, because so many of us have been taught that, this diabetes, this kidney failure, this heart disease, this obesity, this autoimmune condition, these fibroids, they run in your family. And so when we believe that it is our DNA that's causing the disease, we don't take ownership of it. So once a month, every first Saturday of the month, I invited people out in downtown Detroit to learn something different. I built my own stage. I did that class for 5 years, 2017 to 2023. So what does that mean? Can you imagine how many reps I got in every first Saturday of the month for 5 years? And in 5 years, I missed one Saturday. It was a Saturday in a November 2019. I remember the one I missed. That's how consistent I was. I missed November of 2019, first Saturday, and I missed it because guess what? I had been invited to somebody else's stage. I had been invited to somebody else's stage. So I don't know. What's the speaker name, y'all? Y'all tell me if y'all remember her name. It's a Black woman. Her name is Cheryl. Her last name is slipping my mind, but her name is Cheryl. She's a Black woman, very dynamic speaker. Anyway, in 2019, November 2019, she was putting on a conference called SpeakerCon. I bought a ticket to SpeakerCon, and they were having a competition, a speaker competition, and it was impromptu. Like, you didn't know the competition was going on before you got to the conference, so you didn't have time to prepare. But they invited people from the audience to come up and do like a, yes, Cheryl Woods, that's it. Come on, Dr. Trush, you adding a whole bunch of value to be new here. Thank you. But yes, Cheryl Wood, that's her, and very dynamic young lady. And so I was at her conference, and they had invited people in the audience up to engage in a speaker competition. They said, okay, this is SpeakerCon, right? We're gonna have a competition. Who is bold enough to come up on stage, talk about whatever you want to talk about for a few minutes, and then we're gonna judge you and see who wins, right? And I was like, me, honey. My mom was there with me in the audience and everything. And I was like, I volunteer, right? And so I volunteered to go on stage and participate in this speaker competition. And guess what? I won first place, y'all. I won first place. Now, they said you could talk about anything you want to talk about. So what I know is I'm going to talk about what I know very well, what I have mastery in, but most importantly, what I'm passionate about. Because if my passion and my conviction comes through, I know I got the audience, right? And did. Okay, so I won first place. And that was just a way off way of telling y'all that was the only Saturday that I missed first Saturdays. For 5 years, I spoke on my own stage, but it doesn't mean I didn't get invited to other stages throughout that time. But the point is, when you are naturally low key, when you are naturally behind the scenes, if you are naturally introverted, sometimes if you don't have that extroverted energy, you have to prepare. So even though you might not have stage fright and you don't mind speaking, it makes you more comfortable to be more prepared. Who's watching right now and preparation makes you feel more comfortable? Just put me in the chat if preparation is your preference. Some of us, we like, call on me any moment and I'm ready to go. I stay on go. Others of us, they like, give me a heads up, right? Tell me the questions you're going to ask. Tell me the subject matter. Tell me what you expect from me. Like, some of us, we do better when we have time to prepare. I mean, all of us do better when we have time to prepare. But some of us, like, if we aren't prepared, we are shaking in our boots, right? Put me in the chat if preparation is your preference. Put me in the chat if preparation is your preference. Because if that is you, then building your own stage is one of the best things you can do for yourself because you control everything. So if you want to go from wherever you are now to bigger stages, to bigger platforms, sharing it with bigger names, then building your own stage, this first step is a gold mine for you. This is all you needed to hear. Like, don't wait until someone else presents you with an opportunity. Create your own opportunity so that you can get your reps in on your own terms. So with First Saturdays, I decided the name of First Saturdays. I decided what I was going to talk about every single month. I had an entire month to prepare my notes. What stories did I want to tell? What examples did I want to use, right? What continuing education did I need to do to make sure I knew the subject matter through and through, right? Building your own stage is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And then guess what, guys? I didn't stop. Guess what First Saturdays graduated to? Guess what First Saturdays graduated to? So I told you guys I did First Saturdays for 5 years from 2017 to 2023. First Saturdays just graduated to where you are right this moment, to Monday morning keynotes. I went from my own stage once a month to now doing it once a week. I have been doing this Monday morning keynote live every Monday at 10 a.m. EST for years now. The same thing that I did to get good, that landed me on the stage this weekend with Dr. Eric Thomas, that landed me on his podcast last week, that's landing me on the stage with Vanessa, the founder of Girl Trek, and Brandy Harvey next month in Jamaica, that's landing me on the retreat that I'm speaking at in the Poconos next month in Pennsylvania. The exact same thing that I did to get good enough to be seen by those individuals is the exact same thing that I'm doing right now as we speak. this YouTube is my current stage. I just went from an in-person stage to a virtual stage. Can you imagine being really good and still practicing every week? Like, I create a topic every week to come talk about on YouTube every Monday. And before it was YouTube, I only been on YouTube going live for over a year. We started in February of 2024. What's this year? Are we in 2025? That's crazy. Okay. We started in February 2024 on YouTube, right? But before YouTube, where's my day ones at? Put in the chat, where was I going live every Monday at 10 a.m. EST before it was on YouTube starting February of last year? Where's my day ones at? Like, I haven't stopped. I built my own stage, and even though I'm being invited to other people's stages, I still grace my own stage with my own audience every week, consistently, nonstop. And guess what? I remember one one time, and it was earlier this year. It was the first quarter of this year. It's the only Monday I can remember missing. Shout out to Regina. Shout out to Lachey. IG. I was doing Instagram Live before it was YouTube Live. The only thing that has changed is the platform. The only thing that's changed is the platform. So I went from downtown Detroit at the Elevator Building every first Saturday of the month from 2017 to 2020. Then a pandemic hit, and we went from the Elevator Building to Zoom from 2020 to 2023. And then in 2020, though, I got a business coach who was like, yo, you need to be creating more content online. So while I'm still doing first Saturdays, I started doing live on Instagram and on Facebook from 2020 to 2024. And in 2024, me and Kiwi made a business decision to just go all in on YouTube. And so now from February 2024 till today, September 22nd, 2025, I'm still on my own stage. The thing that got me more and more comfortable, the thing that refined my voice and my message, I'm still doing it today. I'm not telling you what I did. I'm telling you what I do. Step one, build your own stage. If you are an introvert, if you're somebody who's way more private, if you're somebody who feels way more comfortable when you've had time to write notes and review your notes and create slides and study and practice in the mirror, there's no better cheat code. There's no better cheat code than building your own stage, because you get to determine everything. So that's step one in the SIP process. How did I go from a quiet coach to industry stages as an introvert? I built my own stage, and I'm still standing on it today. All right. If y'all got that, say got it. Note takers, get ready to drop number 2 in the chat. Get ready to drop number 2 in the chat. And this one is so important. Now, let me put a cliff note on number 1. I tell you to build your own stage. I'm telling you right now, for some of you, there is going to be some personal development work, let's say, that you'll need to do in order to do that. If feelings of insecurity come up, of things you're self-conscious about comes up, that's the work that you do first. That is the prerequisite to building your own stage. If you get on and like, I hate seeing myself, or I hate my own voice, or I need to lose weight, or I hate my speech impediment, or, I'm just not that smart. I'm not as articulate. I'm not as charismatic. I'm not as funny. If you have all this comparison, if you have insecurities and things you're self-conscious about, that's the invitation. The invitation is not to stay away from the stage. The invitation is to go in the dark and do the work. I had to work on myself. Can I give you a quick example before we move on to number 2? Y'all got time today? Let me give you a quick example. Look at this Colgate smile. Huh? You see it. I didn't like my gap. I'm like, man, I'm doing these lives every week. I'm watching myself on video. People say it's cute. I get it. You don't need to cover up your gap. God gave you that gap. God gave you that gap. I want mine covered. I want my teeth closed. Okay? So guess what I did? I went and bought not the Invisalign, but what's the other one? Anyway, Invisalign's competition, right? And I did what made me feel happy. It was strictly cosmetic. It wasn't medical. There was no risk of me having a gap in my teeth. It wasn't even giant. It was fairly small. But it was something that I wanted to change. It was cosmetic. So guess what I did? I went and I wore the liners for however many months. Matter of fact, that's why I don't chew gum to this day, y'all. So when you wearing a liners from Bright Smile, whatever it is, y'all see I'm tired from this weekend. My brain like, Lisa, we need a nap. Okay. The only time I have memory loss is when I'm kind of tired. So, but whatever they're called, right? Smile Direct. Thank you, Carmel. Y'all, I love y'all so much. Y'all like help sis out. She tired today. She just got home last night from Atlanta. Listen, Smile Direct, right? So I went to Smile Direct. I said, what's the process for closing my gap? I'm on the mic, I'm on the camera all the time. I don't like it. I want my smile to look different. Okay. So I'm like, I want to close my gap. And so they said, you got to wear these aligners based on your gap. We did your x-rays. You less than a year to be closed and less than a year. I said, bet. How much? They said a couple grand. I said, bet. Remember earlier I told you, whatever the assignment is, and you pair that with whatever you believe your obstruction or your hindrance is. For the young lady earlier, it was her job. For me, it was my gap. It's not like, oh, I hate seeing myself with this gap, so I guess I'm just going to be disobedient to the assignment. No, go figure out what's going to take to like what you see. And for me, I'm like, boom, I'm going to wear the aligners for less than a year. I'm going to close my gap and boom. And here we are today. And I love it. Right. And I'm happy with it. And a whole bunch of, I think my best friend, people like, you don't need to. I'm like, I know I don't need to. That's why it's called cosmetic. What you talking about? I'm not doing it because I need to. I'm doing it because God called me to be a public figure and I need to be comfortable with myself. Right. And so I'm telling y'all that like nothing, there should be nothing that encourages disobedience. Right. And so my best friend told me years ago, speaking is your gift. I built my own stage. I'm still on my own stage today. When I saw something or felt something that made me feel insecure or a little self-conscious, I went and did something about it, regardless of what everybody else thought. And guess what? I'm still showing up every Monday feeling good about myself, because when you have insecurities and when you have limiting beliefs and when you have things that you are self-conscious about, yes, you might be obedient enough to be like, I'll turn the camera on, I'll talk, I'll share, I'll speak, I'll raise my hand, I'll speak up, I'll get up, I'll be in the spotlight a little bit. But here's what happens though. If you haven't done the personal development work, you will be on the mic and in front of the camera, but your mind will be split. Part of you will be trying to focus on what you're saying. The other part of you will be focused on the stuff you don't like about yourself. And that will compromise the message. So disobedience is not just when you don't do what God told you to do. Disobedience is also when you allow something to obstruct you while you're doing what he told you to do. Does that make sense? And so I couldn't afford to be double-minded while I'm on the mic. I need to be locked in with y'all. People are here to hear what I have to say. There are introverts who are listening and watching and trying to figure out the play. How do I do it? And so I got to make sure you guys understand that just turning on a mic is not the full obedience. You also have to be fully present. You also need to be healed from the insecurity, from the thing that's going to keep you from showing up fully, the thing that's going to stop you from running away after you record the video. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to look at it. I just can't watch myself. I can't see it. I can't. That's ridiculous. Because you got to get better every time. So you got to watch your own tapes. You can't do that if you hate what's looking back at you. So go do the personal development work to become the person who can not just show up, but can show up and be clear-headed, that can be focused, right? And talk to God's people in the way that he told you to do. Okay, that's number one. That was the small print on number two. Number one, Wanda said preach. All right. Let's get into number two. This one is so important. Oh my goodness. I was telling them this at our meet and greet. I say, listen, if I come to your city and I do a meet and greet, all that happens is it turns into this giant coaching session and just nuggets be getting dropped. So I'm telling y'all right now, we had an amazing time yesterday in Atlanta. The next time I announce a meet and greet, if you can come, you better come, because man, y'all can ask me anything and I be coaching. And this is the stuff I be charging thousands of dollars for anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all today what I told them yesterday. Okay. Step 2 in the SIP process is create your own intellectual property. The I stands for IP. So step 1, stage, build your own stage. Step 2, create your own intellectual property. Let me tell you what that means, okay? Now, sometimes, okay, Lachey said, come to New Jersey again. I'm trying to be in a coaching circle. Okay, so let me tell you something that happens, especially for introverts and those of us who are just more naturally quiet or whatever, right? Sometimes the extroverts can get the opportunity because they have sometimes more charisma, okay? So if somebody has a lot of charisma, they are a people person. Like, that's how my partner is. That's how my coach ET is. Like, they are people. Like, people love them. They love people, right? They hug people. They spend time with people. Like, they like kick it with people. They get energized from people, like they people, right? But for some of us, our people meter is limited. Like, we can people and then we can't people no more. Okay. So let me tell you why number 2 is so important if you are a person whose peopling has a limit. If you want to build a personal brand and you want to get invited to these stages and you want to stand out and you want opportunities that you don't have to fight for, but that come to you, one of the best pieces of leverage that you can create for yourself is your own intellectual property. That means you have something that you have created from scratch, from your own mind, your ideas, your personal story, your personal experience, that you have packaged for other people to follow and utilize. So this could be a book that you've written. Okay. This can be a framework that you've developed to solve a certain problem. So you might say, PAID, PAID. That's my 4-step framework for increasing your credit score and qualifying for your first home. Let me teach you my PAID framework. That's intellectual property, right? You may have a book that you've written that helps victims of domestic violence, or that helps people who are starting their first business, or, so what is your intellectual property? You might have a coaching program curriculum that you have created that is a linear process that help people who want to reverse hypertension or obesity, right? You might have a signature process that helps people to eliminate chronic stress. Shout out to me. You might have a signature process that teaches people how to create content online. Shout out to me. You might have a signature process that teaches people how to take their obedience to God from average to radical. Shout out to me. You have to have intellectual property so that when your proposal is side by side with someone else's proposal, who is an extrovert, who may be more charismatic, right? Who may be more people-y than you want to stand out in the running for that stage because you're bringing to their audience or to their company or to their platform a unique process that you've created that they can't get anywhere else. Intellectual property is leverage, and it is how you begin to win stages that others cannot. Listen to me. My coach has this. Now, my coach, ET, he is an extrovert naturally. He's a people person, but he's also a smart businessman. So guess what he has? He has what's called the flight assessment. He has intellectual property that people cannot get anywhere else that he can take into an organization or take to somebody's stage and teach them how to improve their company based on the flight assessment. Me, last week, when I was in Georgia, in Midland, Georgia, speaking at the Unite Women's Conference, right? The theme of the conference was Made New. And the organizer asked me to come in and speak to the audience about insecurities, about inconsistency, and teach people how to be made new. Guess what I did? I bought my intellectual property, my framework for radical obedience, how to be radically obedient to God. I took that onto their stage and I taught their audience what it means to be radically obedient. I didn't read that anywhere. I didn't study some expert from long ago who developed this. I created the framework for radical obedience in my own brain. And then I packaged it into an easy to understand process that other people can follow. If you want to have leverage, if you're comparing yourself to other people who seems like they got it, they have what it takes to hit these stages and do the big things and build this big personal brand, and you're not them and I don't have that. Have intellectual property, because maybe it ain't, your big loud personality that's going to get you in the room, but what if you had a unique process that you created? I was talking, one of the ladies we was talking to yesterday, as a matter of fact, at our meet and greet, she's like, she said, teacher retention is a problem in school districts. Like, teachers are leaving within 5 years of becoming a teacher. And she has a book that she's written, and she has a process that she can teach to school districts on how to retain teachers. IP. She has IP. This is so important. So I have created about 4 or 5 assessments. I have the chronic stress assessment. I have the optimal health assessment. I have the radical obedience assessment. I have the coaching business assessment. Or do you want a coaching business? Take this assessment and see how close or far away you are from having a successful coaching business. Everything that I've personally done in my life and got a big result from, I've went out and created IP around it. I have a signature process that I teach for eliminating chronic stress. It's called the HER method. I have a signature process, the HER method, that all of our clients in Clarity, our community, is going to learn on how to eliminate chronic stress. I'm going to take them step by step through my HER method, right? HER strategy, right? For eliminating chronic stress. So they're not going to just be in our community learning stuff like learn how to breathe, learn how to control your emotions, eat better, be well rested so you can make healthy decisions. No, 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 no. I'm going to teach them a unique strategy that they can't get in any other community. I don't care how many other people teach stress. I don't care how many other experts on stress. They don't have HER method. Who is her? I am her. I am her. Hashtag I am her. Why is it HER method? Because I've been chronically stressed before in multiple areas of my life, and I'm going to tell you HER method for not being stressed. It's an acronym. I'm teaching it, right? And so that is my IP. That is what makes Clarity, our community dedicated to optimizing your health and eliminating stress, so attractive, because you can't get HER method anywhere else, right? You can't get the radical obedience framework anywhere else. You can't get my coaching business accelerator curriculum anywhere else. This is our unique process for creating a successful coaching business. And if you want to learn it, if you're watching my success publicly and you want to learn how I did it privately, guess who you got to come to? Somebody say me in the chat. So step 2 in the SIP method, from going from a quiet coach or a quiet introvert, a behind the scenes person, is create intellectual property that you can leverage to make your proposal, your offer stand out when it's sitting next to a whole bunch of other people, right? They're not going to be, here's a mistake that people make on this step or when it comes to speaking. They think that people will want them because of who they are, right? And there are some people who have those type of personalities that can win stages and win opportunities because they are them, right? They are them. And we're all unique in our own way. We're all God-kissed, right? However, one of the challenges to that is that at some point you're going to want to sit down and slow down. And if you have not created intellectual property, that can continue to sell when you no longer want to travel as much or do as much, that means you are now the bottleneck in your business. That means the business is only successful as long as Lisa is available. But if I have the her method that I'm teaching to Coach Regina, Coach Carmel, Coach Milan, who are all coaches inside of Clarity, then guess what? They don't need Lisa. Lisa gets to take a few vacations now, right? Lisa gets to go sit down and be still if she feels like it, because now they're not calling us for Lisa. They're calling us for her method. Can you come teach that to my group of Black women who are overwhelmed and stressed out? If you're not available, is one of your coaches available to come to our audience? Intellectual property is how you work your way out the business. But if you only make yourself the superstar, if you're the highlight of the show, if you're the spotlight, then not only do you always have to be on, right? But then you also bottleneck your business. The business lives and dies with you. So intellectual property is how, if you eventually want to go back to being an introvert and start stepping away from the public light, create something that can live in the light without you. My radical obedience framework is so dope. I'm about 90% of the way done with the book about it. The book can live without me. I can take the book, teach it to my coaches. Matter of fact, I could create a radical obedience certification, certify people in radical obedience, and have them teaching it. This is a model that all the greats use. Shout out to John Maxwell. He's been dead and gone. Shout out to Napoleon. He's been dead and gone, and people are still teaching, right? How to win friends and influence people. People are still teaching, how to grow rich, how to think and grow rich. Like, they created intellectual property, and now their IP lives on after they're long gone. So the flight assessment is going to live on after ET. As he slowly begins to be like, I want to do less of this public stuff and I want to be more with my family. He's created IP that keeps his legacy alive, that keeps his name alive, but then also allows him to go quiet when he feels like it. So as an introvert, right, when I want to go quiet, I can deploy Coach Milan. I can deploy Coach Carmel. And I can be like, listen, this organization reached out to us. They want us to come in and teach our strategy for chronic stress. You already know what it is. Go for it. Okay? So IP is the second step in the SIP method. Y'all ready for number 3? The third and final. Come on, Regina. You know Regina go gas me up. Shout out to her method. I am her. And is. And is. Okay? Now, when I say something y'all like, y'all better throw them thumbs up there. Where my wand at? Where my people that used to be like, y'all better like this live? I used to have some warriors in the chat used to be like, this should have more likes on it. Okay, so let's get into the last step. Step number 3 in the SIP method. And then, let's have a fun, quick business segment today. We our BS segment. Let's do a BS segment today, our business strategy segment. Okay, so the final step in the SIP method is engage with people. Now, this is challenging for people who are naturally not peoplers, who have to muster up the energy or sometimes the courage to speak to people and to engage with people. So Saturday, when we were at the Anchor conference, it was a super long day. And the day was from about 10 a.m. to about 8 p.m. Well, after 8 p.m., it was a long day. And when you speak and when you're good at speaking, people want to talk to you. Okay. And it's a blessing, right? Now, I knew this already because when I did my first Saturday class in downtown Detroit, same thing would happen. I would speak, I would teach, and afterward, people want to talk, right? People want to come up to me and they want to ask questions and they want to tell stories, or they want me to expound on something that I taught on. And now at that time, I wasn't as self-aware, so I didn't know I was an introvert. I just knew I would be extremely tired after first Saturdays. I would be like so tired, so exhausted. And so I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why am I so tired? And now I know it's because I'm more introverted. And so I have to recover or recharge after talking to a lot of people, which is fine. I know that now. I didn't know it then, but now I know it. So here's the thing. Number 3 speaks to, somebody put this in the chat, the responsibility that comes with opportunities. Okay. So you might self-identify as a more introverted, low-key, private person, but there is responsibility that comes with opportunities. So this past Saturday, it was a super long day in Atlanta, but my coach gave me the opportunity to be on his stage. Hundreds of people in the room, right? Big stage, big deal. A ton of other dynamic speakers were taking the stage. When you are a dynamic speaker, when you have a message that God gave you, when you have a divine download that he told you to go tell the people, right? It's going to resonate with people. Here's how speaking works. If you are called to this work, here's how it works. You have the gift, okay? You decide to steward the gift. So you get your reps in, you volunteer to speak and share. You decide to steward the gift. So what happens is God starts trusting you with bigger and bolder messages, and I call these divine downloads. So you get divine downloads, right? And then, God uses people to give you an opportunity. Okay, these are called butlers. Okay, so butlers begin to open doors for you. Okay, and as you walk through those doors, because you've decided to be radically obedient, on the other side of that door of opportunity is a responsibility that may not honor your preference. I tried to walk through that slowly. Okay. You were given a gift. You were smart enough to steward the gift. He began trusting you with divine downloads. He used someone as a butler to give you an opportunity. You walk through the door of opportunity. In that room is a responsibility. For me, that responsibility means you're not done when your panel is done. You're not done when your keynote is done. The responsibility for me doesn't start when I get on the stage. It starts when I get off the stage, because my preference is to then just go be by myself. But the responsibility that comes with the opportunity is that I now need to hug the people, take pictures with the people, talk to the people who were so moved by my message that they just had to shake my hand. I now have a responsibility to be more extroverted. I now have a responsibility to engage with people more. That is the responsibility that comes with the opportunity that I was granted. I don't get to huff and puff and fuss. My responsibility was not just what I did on stage. It is also what I do off a stage. Now, me having my preferences and me being naturally introverted and me knowing that I get tired sometimes, then I now have to make sure I put certain things and people in place to insulate me and to protect me, right? So I had Kiwi there this weekend with me, and she took care of me the whole time. I get off stage, she come over like, you good? You need water? Where's your phone? You got everything? Is your mic on? You need me to film? She's right there. Right? I know you hungry, which you like right there. And then it's also my responsibility. And guess what else she did? Last night, we had the same flight back. We sitting at the airport, right? Now, me and Kiwi, we have a meeting every Monday. Okay, every Monday, we have a branding meeting, and it's usually 2 hours after this live, right? But Kiwi, she is my insulation. And so at the airport last night, we're waiting, for our flight to start boarding. And she's like, you good? Do we need to cancel the meeting tomorrow? You need to just rest? I said, I do. She said, say less, right? Don't worry about it. We're not going to have our meeting tomorrow. You need to decompress. After your live, just relax. No meeting tomorrow. I said, thank you, right? So here's what I'm telling you. I've been telling you this whole episode. When you have preferences, you have to find a workaround. The assignment is the assignment. God said, I've given you the voice. I've given you the gift of articulation. I've given you the gift of speaking. Now I need you to go out and do it. But guess what? When you get off the stage, the people are going to want to be with you. They're going to want to spend time with you. They're going to want your advice. They're going to want to know how they can follow you. They're going to want to know how that you can help them. And guess what? You need to talk to every single person, and you need to have a smile on your face, and you need to be genuinely happy, and you need to take the pictures when they want a picture, and you need to hug when they want to hug, and they're gonna stand in line and wait on you. They're gonna flag you down. Your feet might be hurting, you might be thirsty, but guess what? This is the responsibility that comes with opportunity. Step number 3, you have to become a people person. I don't care what your preferences are. Your preferences don't always serve you. Did you know when you are a speaker, your next speaking opportunity is usually already in the room? I'm on a stage. My next stage is watching me in the audience right now. There's a decision maker in the audience right now who's going back to their organization right now and saying, I saw somebody so dynamic this past weekend in Atlanta. We got to get her. Your next opportunity is in the audience. But if you're not a people person, if you're not speaking to people when you come in the room, if you're not smiling and shaking hands, if you rushing people through their story, do you know I have mastered the art of listening just so I can honor the assignment that God has given me? I sit and I listen to people when they tell me their story when I come off this. I don't just say, and look all around. I lock in. What's your name again? Tell me what you do. Okay, wait a minute, back up. I missed that last part. I'm a people person now, not a fake people person. Not a I'm just trying to do this for the cameras person. I'm a real people person now. Like, yeah, I still get tired, but I enjoy this part of the process. This is what got me to industry stages, becoming a people person. You know what? I got the best compliment yesterday during our meet and greet. I got the best compliment yesterday during our meet and greet. We're doing a meet and greet, and one of the young ladies that showed up, hold on, y'all, I'm thirsty. She said, first thing she said that was a super dope compliment. Now, mind you, my coach is the number one motivational speaker in the world, right? People come out to see E. He's been changing lives for over 30 years, like powerful, dynamic. At the meet and greet yesterday, this young lady came and she said, I came to the conference for you. I said, what? No, this is the best compliment I've ever gotten. She said, I came for you. She said, do you know I was the one who DM'd you on Facebook and asked, were you going to be on Anchor? I said, yeah, I remember. She said, yeah, I live in Atlanta. I came for you. She might have been the only person in the room that was there for me. Everybody else was a nice to have. Lisa was a must have. I said, now this is the biggest compliment I could ever hear. I said, you came for me? She said, I came for you. I wanted to hear you. Now, that's not the best part, though. That's not the best part of the story. She then later in the conversation said, and this is where step 3, this is why step 3 is so important. She then said, you watch people from afar and you get to meet them and everybody is not what they are. She said, I am so happy you are exactly who you are online. She said, you are exactly who you are online. You're her. I said, I am her. She was so pleased with who she met in person. Do you know that was the biggest compliment? That was the biggest compliment. Let me tell you why. Not because I done had to work not to be fake, but I had to work to be more extroverted. I had to work to be more open because I am naturally just private into myself. And so she complimented me and said, you are exactly who I see, and the energy that I feel online, that's what I'm getting right now. You're the same person, kicking it, right? That is from mastering the art of becoming a people person, of engaging with people. And I need you guys to understand that is the step in this SIP process. Build your own stage, create your own intellectual property, and engage with people. You have to. You cannot just have a gift and give your gift from afar. You have to. These people are responsible for where I am today. How dare I continue to honor my own preferences and be out here talking about I don't do all that. I'm a hugger now. Yep. I'm a hugger now. I'm gonna give me a shirt that say I'm a hugger now. I'm a hugger now. I be hugging people first, right? Like I had to become a people person. This is the responsibility that's coming with my opportunities. Lisa, the more dynamic you become, because I'm only going to get gooder and gooder. So the more dynamic I am, the more people, the more attractive I am going to become to people, because radical obedience makes you attractive. Radical obedience makes you magnetic. So the more reps I get in, and the more attractive I become to people, the more they're going to want to be around me. My energy is attractive. My message is attractive. My gift is attractive. People are attracted to that. But the worst thing you can do is be attractive from afar and repel people up close. Oh, you'll ruin your whole career. You'll ruin all your opportunities. You'll close all the doors. The worst thing you can do is be attractive from afar and repelling and repulsive up close. I went to a conference a couple months ago in Dallas, and it was from somebody who I've been admiring from afar online. And he was holding an event in Dallas a couple months ago, and so we went to the event. And he said something in the room that turned me off a little bit. He said, I ain't got time to be taking pictures with y'all. I'm trying to run the conference. I know y'all want pictures, but I ain't got time to be taking pictures. We ain't doing pictures. And that turned me off a little bit. I said, these are the people who are responsible for why you on stage right now. How dare you? How dare you dishonor them? But they done flew in, they done drove in, they done called off of work to be here to learn from you in person, to sit in our audience and increase their proximity to you. And how dare you tell them that you ain't got time because you trying to run the show, to take pictures and shake hands and spend some time with people? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? It's a turnoff. Right? So I don't care what your preferences are. Some of you guys, your preferences is why you aren't where you want to be. Your preferences have too much control over your life. So if you're not a people person, become one. It's the responsibility that comes with opportunity. Let's review, boys and girls. Listen, as you get your takeaways ready and prepared to drop in the chat, as you get any questions you have for me today and prepare to drop those in the chat, I'm going to tell you your first primary responsibility, if you want to be a speaker and be a coach and have a personal brand, is to be the best version of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you haven't already, I need you to click the link that's pinned in the chat here on YouTube to register for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. The challenge don't start to January 1st. But our prep classes start in October. So we're less than a month away from our first prep class, or we might be 1 month away. Let me see. Let me tell you what the date is on our first prep class. It's at the end of October. Every time we do our challenges, y'all, we do prep classes so that we can get you guys ready. It is on the 28th of October. So we're just over a month away. So our first prep class for the next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge is going to be on Tuesday, October 28th. Okay. And I need you to be in a challenge, because the other way, if I was to add a letter to this acronym, to really give you all the steps I did to get where I am today, it will go from SIP to SHIP, okay? I just made this up in my head. Ooh, I crack myself up when I'm tired. Okay, we'll go from SIP, S-I-P, to SHIP, S-H-I-P, okay? So not only did I build my own stage, but the H would stand for I optimize my health, Okay, the ship method. Call it what you want. I be making up IP on the go. You know what I'm saying? So call it what you want. So the other thing that allows me to perform the way I do, have the endurance that I have, to travel, to speak, to create messages for these stages, is the quality of my health. It's the quality of my health. I told them on a women's panel this past weekend in Atlanta, I was like, yo, y'all think your competitive advantage is the quality of the shirts you sell, or the special benefits you got inside your coaching program. My competitive advantage is my health. I just eat better than the competition. So I'm thinking more clear than them. You know what I mean? Like, I just work out more regularly. I was on the Stairmaster this morning. I'm like, Lord, this is some type of commitment. I just came off of one of the busiest weekends and I'm still in the gym, at 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, because I understand that my health has an assignment and my health is a competitive advantage, right? So if I was to add one onto this, so y'all can make sure if you overweight, if you're out of breath, if you got a food or caffeine addiction, if you don't have good sleep hygiene, if you are taking medications for something, I'm telling you right now, that's going to compromise the assignment. I don't know why we think we can do all of these things and perform with less than optimal health, but we can't. So it went from sip to ship, honey. All right. So build your stage, optimize your health, create intellectual property, and become a people person. Regina better come with it. She said, get on the ship. Okay. So the link to register for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, if you need me to help you get your health together, is in the chat. It's in the show notes. Make sure you click on it. Get registered. January 2026 is when we start, but prep classes start on October 28th. Wanda said it's in the mushrooms. That's a shout out to the S2S podcast. Mushroom-based, baby. Mushroom-based, honey. I love it here. Let me see, y'all. Any questions or any takeaways before I log off? We went an hour and 6 minutes today. I told my podcast editor, shout out to Colette, many months ago, that I was going to go shorter on Mondays so that our podcast episodes wouldn't be so long. And look at me, not doing that at all. All right. So listen, if you couldn't stay the whole time, or if you need to hear this again because it was so impactful, make sure you are subscribed to the Plant Protocol podcast. That is where all of these episodes are repurposed to, right? So that you can keep me in your ear at all times. Let me become the voice in your head. You got all these other voices telling you you're not good enough, it's too hard, it's too expensive, lack, I'm not enough, all the things. Why don't you get a new voice in your head that's going to tell you all the right stories, okay? So let's go. Yeah, y'all loving ship. Listen, let me go trademark that, the ship method, listen. And it's so funny because, the theme for this past weekend in Atlanta was anchored, right? Man, I wish God would have gave me ship before anchored, because that would have been perfect. Stacy's takeaway. Oh, Stacy, so good. Look at what Stacy said, y'all. Let me pop it up on the screen. Stacy said, thank you for the teeth reference. My gap was created by a crazy shift over time. And look, being disobedient, must correct it. God just answered me. Yay, Stacy. You are so welcome. If you don't like it, you get to do something about it. I don't be judging people. You want to get some work done, go ahead. That's we got all our choices. We just got to let people live and let live what makes them happy. Don't worry about what it looks like to you. Just do your own thing. Everybody get to do their own thing. Okay. Wanda, my girl Wanda said, you are always on point. Thank you, Wanda. Shout out to Clarity. Wanda's in our Clarity community. Listen. Oh, come on, Dr. Trust. Come on. Dr. Trust said, I registered on Saturday. Amen. Amen. We can't wait to have you in the challenge. We have a phenomenal time. The energy is high. Like, it's a good time. So January is probably going to be one of the best months of your life, because the mental clarity is going to be insane. When you change your diet, oh boy, the vibrational the channel changes, okay? The frequency goes to a whole nother level when you eat like you got some sense. So I cannot wait to have all of you guys in the next 30-day vegan SOS free challenge. It is complimentary to register, so do yourself a favor and do that. I think that's it. Okay, that's it, y'all. Listen, I'll be back here next Monday. So next Monday should be juicy because I'll be live from home. I'll be home in Detroit, and I'll be live. Let's see. Oh, Dr. Trust, if you're still on, and for all of you that are in the Detroit metro area, in Michigan, whatever it may be, next Saturday I'm speaking at a Place to Change Ministries. That's Dr. Eric Thomas's. That's ET's church in Lansing. So if you want to come live, we are going to do a health series, and we're kicking it off in Lansing on Saturday, September 27th, in Lansing, Michigan. That's about an hour and a half drive away from the DTW airport. And come. I'm speaking, ET is speaking, so he'll be doing his sermon at 11 a.m. So you want to be there before 11 a.m. And then right after ET speaks, he and I are going to go on and we're going to teach and we're going to kick off this week-long health series. So more about that. It's all free, virtual health series, but the kickoff is in person. And we're going to have a good time. And so if you want more of this, if you want some new voices in your head telling you different stories, this is where you start. Like, just get locked in with us. My ecosystem, ET's ecosystem, we're all part of the same family. And now you can start hearing the messages and the things that you need to go to the next level. Oh, you're in Alabama. Okay, bet. You know what's so funny? The young lady that was on the panel with me this weekend, she lives in Birmingham. And I just told her on Saturday, Ebony, that I was going to come to Birmingham so we could kick it. So I'll let you know when I go hang out with Amber in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know how far you might be from that, but I always make an announcement when I'm in different cities for anybody who might wants to get lunch or something like that. So I'll make an announcement when I'm in Alabama, or y'all let me know. Is some organization that needs to come get this health? Just give me a gig in Alabama, even better. And I come speak and we can all do lunch and have a good time. Okay, let's see. Wanda says, where can I find, let me pull this up so I can see it bigger. Where can I find an assessment to see if I'm an introvert or extrovert? Oh, shoot, the flight assessment, Wanda. Oh, matter of fact, Wanda, you're in Clarity. So we'll have the flight assessment inside of Clarity. So Clarity is our community, guys, where all of our coaching programs and everything is offered. So if you want to work with us, you come inside of Clarity. And we've opened it up to a small group of people right now. We'll be opening it up to the public at large in October. But Clarity, inside of Clarity, Wanda, you're already in. That's where we'll be offering the flight assessment. That's the assessment that I used to discover I was an introvert. So I used ET's assessment. And so you can definitely use that. We'll have it inside of Clarity. So we got you. Okay, cool. Ebony, you 45 minutes away from Birmingham. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to talk to Amber and see when y'all weather be acting right and I come through. I hope y'all got some plant-based options for your girl and we'll come have a good time together. You're welcome, Wanda. Okay, do I see any other questions? Oh, Anne Marie Sampson, I didn't see you. I don't know if you're still on, but let me acknowledge you. She said, this is my first time here. This was really good. New subscriber. Welcome, Anne Marie. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad it resonated with you. Hey, look at my newbies. I love it. I love y'all for this. This is so amazing. Okay, that miss anything else? The ship method. Okay, facts. Okay, beautiful. I don't see anything else. I don't think I missed anything. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Ebony. She said, I saw you offer plant-based coaching certification. How do I get more info about that? Well, say less. So we offer our plant-based coaching certification inside of Clarity. So like I said, Clarity, we have one community. It houses all of our programs and all of our options. So I'm going to give you the wait list for Clarity, and then we're going to open it up in October to the public at large. We have a small community there now. So let me give you the Clarity wait list, Ebony, and that'll be the best place. Throw your name on the list because the wait list is going to get priority access. And so let me give that to you and drop the link in the chat for you. Here it is. And this is where all the magic is going to happen. So yes, I have a plant-based coaching program for those of you who want to go plant-based for your personal health. And then we also have a plant-based certification for those of you who want to become plant-based coaches and teach other people how to go plant-based for their health. So we have Farm to Table. That's a plant-based coaching program just for individual personal health. And then we have the Plant Protocol certification, and that is for people who want to become coaches and speakers and teach nutrition science, lifestyle science, all the stuff I teach, right? So I packaged what I did and I put it into a curriculum and I teach you guys how to do it. Okay. Yeah, you're so welcome, Ebony. Hey, my new friend. Excellent. Okay, so that's in the chat. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, I think that's it, and that's all. It has been phenomenal. I'm going to do like Kiwi told me to do, although I do got to do a little preparation for this weekend before I rest today. So I got to get my slides ready for Saturday. And guess what, y'all? Oh, my God. God, just keep trusting me. Literally this morning, before I went to the gym. That's why I was late to the gym, late to the Stairmaster today, because I was laying there meditating and God gave me my message for Saturday. God gave me my message for Saturday. Eek. It hyped me up. Like when God gives me a message, my fingers should start going 1,000 miles per minute. Like in my notes app on my phone, like I'm just like, the downloads are coming, and then my little fingers, like little fires, smoke is coming from my fingers trying to type so fast. And so God gave me the message for Saturday. And so guess what I'm gonna do? Light the stage on fire in Lansing this weekend. So if you guys can make it, if anybody's in the area, please come through. He gave me the message this morning. So my responsibility for the remainder of this week is to just refine the message, and go crazy with it. So I'm super excited. And so I know also those of you who are not local to the Michigan area or won't be in town, like I know my Coach Regina is going to drive in with her husband. Coach Carmel might be there. I know Coach Milan's going to drive up from Detroit area. But I'm 100% certain we're streaming it online too. So ET has a big YouTube channel. A Place to Change Ministries has a big YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this weekend on YouTube, go subscribe to A Place of Change Ministries. A Place of Change Ministries, and that's where I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to be streamed, and that I'll check with the church and see if there's anything changes. But that's where they stream the sermons every Saturday. So go to A Place of Change Ministries, and that's where we'll be streaming it so you guys can watch it live. Of course, I'll have my mic on and all that stuff. I'll have some footage, but if you want to watch it live, go subscribe to A Place of Change Ministry. Welcome, Adrian. I hope that's how you say your name. Adrian's Avenue, new subscriber. Hey now. So make sure you turn on your notifications and make sure you get notified. I am here every Monday morning for our Monday morning keynote, 10 a.m. EST, getting my reps in. And I hope this has been phenomenal for you all. Thank you for being here today. Until next Monday or this Saturday. Bye, y'all. It's been real.